Good evening, Assalamu Alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host, Ahmed Nawaz. Once again, it's Monday, the start of a new week, and with some action-packed Sports Extra. That's what we're going to bring you, of course. But it's going to be very exclusive once again. That's what we've been doing ever since the past couple of weeks, and of course more than a month's time now, bringing you all the special stories and the very special people who are making their mark in sports in Pakistan, whether in terms of playing or whether in terms of their administrative capabilities as well. Tonight is going to be a very special show for me indeed as well, because I have always advocated that you need special people for the job. You cannot actually discriminate them on the basis of gender or whether they have that background or not, because sports is completely different, and being a good administrator is also something very different. That's what we're going to be discussing tonight, of course, with a young lady who's certainly been making the mark, making a difference in Pakistan when it comes to one of the most popular sports of the world. And I think whatever she's doing it pretty well. We're going to be introducing her, of course, but courtesy of this report that has been there, courtesy of the team of Sports Extra. Let's just take a look at the personality we've got tonight and then come back and start the show.
Manizeh Zainli is the elected General Secretary of the Pakistan Football Federation and the first female official of any football federation in South Asian countries. Manizeh started her career as a discussion teacher in 2005. In 2016, she served as Head of Administration at Link Schooling System, and then in 2018 as Principal at Westminster David Game College, Karachi. In 2019, Manizeh served as the Outreach Consul and Administrator at the Millennium Universal College. Manizeh Zainli has been selected for the post after a regular interview by a committee set up by FIFA in February 2020. Her appointment at the time had led to some criticism on sexist lines, with the critics taking aim at the fact that she did not have a football background, but Manizeh remained unfazed. Manizeh said that representing Pakistan in the South Asian Football Federation meeting as the only female official was something very special. She said that she does not want to respond to misogynist comments and that she would let her work speak for itself, and these things don't bother her at all. She said that playing football is not required for her job, as she is an administrator, not a coach. She also questioned what football background her predecessors had before coming to Pakistan Football Federation. Manizeh is fully aware of the obstacles ahead and understands that to run football or any sport in Pakistan has its challenges. She is still hopeful of a better future for Pakistan football. One of her plans for the local game is to set up a league for women. She said that we have a lot of talent in male and female football players in Pakistan. Our players are second to none, and there is a need to provide them with a little training and encouragement so that Pakistan's name can shine in football as well as cricket.
There you have it. That's our very special guest for tonight. We're going to be talking to her. We're going to have this exclusive program tonight as well, in conversation with this Iron Lady, that she is a super girl. Whatever she's doing is going to be definitely there on the table tonight as well. But besides that, we're also going to tell you that you lot who are following Sports Extra can now send in your questions. You can send in the feedback. You have it so much on social media, and now we're turning it up a notch. We've got our WhatsApp number right at the bottom of your screen here. You can see it, of course, and you can actually write to us and talk to us as well. Send in your questions that you have for tonight's show and any other thing that you'd like us to be talking on and taking up certain issues as well. And obviously, in the later half of the programs as well, we'll be bringing you very, very special and exclusive gizmos as well at the same time that are going to be there. So the WhatsApp number is on your screen. Write to us, talk to us, send in your questions. Now, regarding the show tonight, like I said, it's a very special show indeed. We're going to be in conversation with the General Secretary of the Pakistan Football Federation, none other than the very, very talented, and what an ambitious woman that she is, the young and, of course, like I said, the very talented Miss Manizeh Zainli. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Assalamualaikum, Ahmed. Hope you're well.
I'm pretty well. Thank you so much for taking our time and being on Sports Extra. Now, first of all, I must ask you, Pakistan Football Federation, of course, it's been very tough times in the previous year, but taking up this responsibility does absolutely mean that you're very focused on the challenges ahead, and you are not just strong at heart, but at the mind as well.
Thank you. I am humbled by the introduction that you gave. Being here is actually an honor for me. So yeah.
Right, Manizeh, let's talk about your career in general, because obviously you're heading one of the world's most popular sporting, sports around the world, and of course, is an official entity of Pakistan. It's a national entity that we call it, and we've seen it over the years. I personally had a chance to interview so many people involved with this as well. Where did your career actually start from? Like, people want to know Manizeh as well at the same time. They want to know what was your ambition, what was your career, everything that is there in terms of you coming towards this side.
Ahmed, it has been a very long journey to come to where I am today. I initially started teaching kids at a charity school, always with the intention of giving back to this world, and with my capabilities moving up to heading schools. My last job was working with a company based in Chicago called Ed Programs, and with them I got to work with a lot of Ivy League universities. And I think my exposure in the field of education gave me a very clear understanding of how important sports is in life. Currently I'm pursuing law. In the end, I would just like to say,
right, Manizeh, we'll keep in conversation with you. I'll just have to interrupt you there. We're just going to go towards a very short break. We're going to be back in an exclusive conversation with the Secretary General of the Pakistan Football Federation. Stay tuned. Right, welcome back to Sports Extra. We're in conversation with the Secretary General, of course, the General Secretary of the Pakistan Football Federation, to be precise, Ms. Manizeh Zainli. Right, Manizeh, from where we left off, of course, and that was your career, and what you pointed it out, that being in that education field gave you a better understanding of the issues in terms of administration that have been prevailing in this certain field for quite some time.
Yeah, and also sports. I think I got a better understanding of how important sports is in life, just generally.
Right, definitely. Now, if we talk about your role since you've joined in, there has been absolutely nonsense criticism coming up about somebody not having that particular background. And now, I say nonsense criticism because I've said it in the past on so many platforms and in so many cases as well, that there needs to be a fine line drawn when you see sports and administration that need to go hand in hand, and people start making all sorts of dubious claims. How have you handled these challenges?
I have said it before, and I'm going to reiterate. I was hired based on what I brought to the table from an administrative perspective. I have never claimed that I am the most well-informed about football, but I feel that my previous work experience gives me enough exposure to contribute towards the betterment of football, especially on the administrative side. There is a clear demarcation, like you said, there's a clear demarcation between the technical and the administrative side, and I think people need to understand the difference in this regard. And as far as playing football is concerned, I have played with Tia for a couple of years. I have always been an athlete in my school years, and I still play football with my daughters.
Right, great there. Of course, people need to know all of these things as well now. In general, I'm tempted to ask you from where we have left off in the previous years, and so much dirt has been thrown on this wonderful organization that could really make so many great changes to Pakistan football. So what do we see in the future course of planning that you and your team are going to be bringing up to the table?
Nawaz, I'm going to say, like everyone knows, the impasse brought due to politics since 2015 has obviously severely impacted Pakistan football, and those years cannot be brought back. But given the limited tenure and mandate of the NC, our prime objective is to focus on holding transparent elections in a timely manner. However, we are also committed to ensure that players, coaches, referees and others involved in football feel that there is hope in football by reviving domestic and international football. Like we just we just had the AFC under-19 qualifiers and our men's national team for a friendly tour to play friendlies. We also hosted the National Women's Championship, and the PFL B League was underway, which was halted by the COVID-19 lockdowns, and all other activities were stopped. We were also planning for PPL. There were a lot of plans which were put on hold, and you know, the reputation of PFF cannot be changed in a day, and we can simply hope that we can put a semblance of a system in place, and that the next elected body can build on that and focus on football development rather than angling for positions, you know.
That's absolutely true. I completely agree. And like I said, once again, that we need to applaud you for your services and the courage that you're bringing in. One thing is very particular that I'd like to mention here, Zainli, is that I have personally been involved in a lot of stuff on the grassroots levels, talking to players, talking to various clubs throughout the years as well, intended to start another sport in Pakistan called Australian Football League at the same time. So much was happening once we were there on the grassroots levels. But definitely there have been a lot of struggles and challenges that these clubs and these individuals have faced, especially the fact that players have kept on claiming that they have been deprived of what is theirs by the organization itself as well. So, you know, what is being done for the grassroots levels in order to listen to those grievances and talk to the players and, of course, the clubs that are there throughout Pakistan?
Ms. Nawaz, like I said before, mandate and tenure is limited, and therefore massive reform or structural changes may not be possible. But the idea is to focus on clubs and youth football, all depending on the COVID-19 situation as to when football can be resumed. But the aim is to have club tournaments across Pakistan and to promote football in general. And you know, we're doing the PFF League, the B League, the PPL. We're also working towards the Women's League, but it all depends on the situation, the COVID-19 situation. As you know, sports has been completely halted right now. The government orders are you cannot continue with sport activities. So we had to put a stop to everything right now. But we're trying our best. We're trying our best in every way possible.
And you guys definitely organized a very, very successful online coaching platform as well that we just saw that was concluded, involving various coaches throughout Pakistan. And of course, Mr. Lutfi had the chance to talk to them. How successful has that been for the PFF?
We have been getting amazing reviews about it, and you know, people are actually calling and trying to register constantly. So we are thinking of extending this till August. We are actually also in talks with AFC and FIFA to give us you know, some online classes, and there are a lot of plans that we are trying to do whichever way we can. You know, like right now, abhi hum log online we can do it. So we're trying to just come up with things that we can work around right now in this situation.
Definitely. Now, if you're talking about the fact that women are definitely making a difference, the team of Sports Extra at this point have another report that focuses on the role of women in sports in Pakistan and various administrative positions as well. So let's just take a look and come back in conversation with Ms. Manizeh Zainli.
Women in sports from Pakistan have excelled in a number of fields such as swimming, hockey, cricket, tennis, squash, cycling and other sports. The growing number of gyms and fitness centers help in meeting the training and keeping the fit requirements for these dedicated athletes. As Pakistani female sportswomen born in 1990s and as a female European diplomat and a woman that likes sports born several decades before that, we both share the belief that sports can empower women and men. Sports has the power to inspire and unite people beyond class and gender. Sports gives us hope where it did not exist before, and it creates leaders who can change the world. For Pakistani sportswomen, the challenge is much bigger than women in any other place. They have to face not just a random gender stereotype, but also religious pressure. We are convinced that sports can be a major driver of gender equality for boosting women's self-esteem. Athletes and role models for youth across the world, regardless of their gender, investing in women and women's sports overall the community to professional level can improve girls' athletic opportunities.
Right, there you have it. Some great stuff coming from the team of Sports Extra indeed. And, you know, I think women empowerment is something that has been debated on so much, but now we see it being practically implemented throughout the world, especially from the field of sports as well. Manizeh, of course, a mother to two beautiful angels, like you mentioned at the start, and what the world we're seeing now, we're seeing that still a lot of stuff is happening, right? My producer just corrected me, 3 beautiful angels. Let me just correct myself, so that makes it even more special. Good to see that the world they're going to grow up in is now realizing the potential that women possess in various fields.
Thank you. Thank you, yeah. Can you repeat your question, Emin?
Yes, I'm saying that good to see that your daughters are going to be growing up in a world where we're seeing now that the role of women in different fields as a specialist is being recognized.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, like I was just talking to my daughters recently, and you know, I was just thinking for myself that back when I was in school in 2000, it was, you know, like we didn't have the opportunities that we can bring forth now in today's time. So it's actually like, you know, and then I am at a position where I can bring change, and I would love to do something for just everyone, you know, not just women, but like everyone in general.
General indeed as well, and that's why we stress the importance of having sporting activities on the grassroots levels, having that edge of belonging to the education structure as well. You would probably support the idea that, you know, throughout schools, throughout various institutions, the PE culture is something that we really need to infuse in our society.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we are actually working on some programs with our coaches, Pakistani coaches who are A-licensed coaches, to bring football for, you know, football training for coaches in schools. So we're just working on that. Let's see how that goes.
And in terms of international coordination, Manizeh, can we know a bit about that as well, that the PFF is obviously reaching out to different football entities throughout the world, including the meeting that you had with the South Asian Football Federation as well?
Absolutely. So South Asian Football Federation meeting was held because of the SAS Games. It was decided that we will be moving it to next year because of the lockdowns and the restrictions because of COVID. And then there will be a meeting again in September to determine where we are going to go forward, how we're going to go forward.
Definitely, how we can go forward is going to be definitely the question of the hour for everyone involved as well with football. But, you know, such a popular sport throughout the world, definitely bringing its own challenges as well. Now, talking about the Normalization Committee, that is very important for people to know at this stage what its primary job is. And like you mentioned, that holding fair and transparent elections in the nearby future is obviously the top agenda. So what steps have been taken to ensure that this constitutional right is definitely implemented for the people of Pakistan?
Like I said before, the PFF-NC mandate is currently to hold free and fair elections, and that has been extended recently. We were given the mandate till June. It was extended till December because of the lockdown, because of COVID. But we are taking all steps possible to complete it as soon as possible. And the PFF-NC is actually currently working on systems. The Secretariat is helping them with it. So yeah, that's it. Currently, right now, the district NCs will be appointed, and we will move forward from there.
And definitely we'll see this as a structure where PFF would definitely be involving regional sort of bodies as well, or would it be definitely a uniform structure?
So the PNCs have already been selected. Now we are going to move on to the district NCs, and we're deciding a system to come for the club scrutiny. So for that, we are also currently working on a web development, and we're just trying to come around a system that we can start the club scrutiny right now.
And in terms of the team that you're working with right now, of course, everybody who's involved with the PFF working under you, how has that experience been so far? What's the support that you've seen that is coming there in terms of matching the vision that you're bringing to PFF right now?
My Secretariat team is extremely competent, and I feel like, you know, I am actually very grateful to get such a team. Working, having good employees and people to work with is actually a blessing. And I think as a secretariat, we're like a family right now. Like I said before, also in another interview, it has been a smooth transition for me.
A true transition indeed, but Manizeh, I think not just with the PFF, but you're definitely setting up an inspiration to so many young ladies out there who have dreamed about being in an administrative role, taking up this position, who now probably after seeing you have the courage to break the stereotypes, overcome these social taboos and definitely take the lead on in leading these men and women, of course, towards the betterment of Pakistan.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I would just like to say, we plan and then God plans. So, inshallah, we together we are going to do something and make a difference for Pakistan, in Pakistan also.
Inshallah, we definitely hope so. I must ask you finally, of course, being short on time, that in terms of taking the media on board at the same time as well as a very important component of the modern century in terms of any organization, be it sports or any other entity. So has there been any talk or any conversation or in terms of any brainstorming where we see that the PFF becomes more vocal, more open to different media outlets throughout Pakistan and just let the people be informed?
We have a media management team. They are constantly non-stop working with the media in Pakistan. So, we have been giving interviews non-stop. We have been updating the masses in general about what we're doing, the progress. And like I said before, we have a limited tenure. So, we're trying to do our best in every possible way.
Definitely you are. Manizeh, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for taking out time. We wish you more power and all the prayers for you, and of course a lot of support from me as an individual and PTV World and Sports Extra as an entity as well. I think we pray for the success of the Pakistan Football Federation under your able leadership, and definitely hope that you get to give Pakistan what it's rightly deserved in terms of football as well. And of course, good luck to you and your team as well.
Thank you, Nawaz. Thank you for having me on the show, and it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. You're truly an inspiration to millions out there, and like I said before as well, that you really inspired us, and of course inspire me as well at the same time, that we see that our daughters definitely have a great future ahead of us. Right, there you have it, the General Secretary of the Pakistan Football Federation. She is in fact the first female General Secretary of a football association in South Asia, and that just tells you the volume that this talented young girl possesses, of course, and the way she's, taking this primary job of ensuring that Pakistan football, of course, returns to that glory that is there, that it rightly deserves, and of course, at the same time, achieving that mandate as well, which is there to hold free and fair, transparent elections at the same time. Then, of course, I think an added responsibility of getting a better image in front of FIFA and different football federations all around the world as well has got to be the primary focus, and that's what they're working on. Of course, more prayers and support to them as well. Of course, all of us in Pakistan need to support Manizeh and her team at this point, because this is how sports will grow as a general as well. And now that's all we have time for this edition of Sports Sector. But of course, like we mentioned, we've given you our WhatsApp number as well. You can catch us on Twitter at the same time as well, and so many platforms where you can write to us and give us your feedback. The WhatsApp number is right on your screens now. It's +92 334 654 0754. So I'll just read it out. It's there on your screens. You can write to us. You can obviously send in your messages, anything that you'd like to add about sports sector and any sport in general as well, and then we'll definitely be portraying it on the show as well. From me and the entire team, until next time, it's goodbye for now.